In this demonstration, we will be discussing distributed order management in Dynamics 365 for commerce. Agenda of this meeting will be 3 points. I will be discussing the overview of the functionality of the distributed order management, discuss multiple business scenarios where distributed order management comes into play and why it is effective and efficient. Then demonstration of one of the scenarios from the above discussed business cases. Essentially all of them are same, but it's just the channel or where the order is coming from is different. Let's begin with point 1, where we will be discussing overview of distributed order management functionality. So let's begin with the section 1, where I will talk about the overview of distributed order management. Distributed order management is a method to optimize fulfillment so that order arrives to the customer on time while incurring the lowest possible cost. So basically what it means is, let's say you place an order from the New York store while you are flying to Seattle and you need the order in Seattle. So for business and for early arrival, it will be best suited that your order is shipped from Seattle instead of New York. So what happens is, in short, distributed order management takes your sales order and based on the rules defined by your business, it optimizes the location of warehouse and site in Dynamics. Now let's jump to the second case where we will be discussing multiple business scenarios. So the multiple business scenarios are there are different order source: call center, e-commerce, brick and mortar, kiosk, and mobile commerce. It can also be DMF import as well. Regardless of where the order is coming from, as far as it is good at when it is a retail order. That means the retail field is filled on the sales order table and it is classified as a retail sales order. That means the order source generating the sales order is a retail channel. Once that is there, it goes into order management system where this green box is just regular sales order and nothing has been done yet to them. Then the DOM batch jobs picks it up. It looks at the profile. Profile are the rules for optimizing the fulfillment in terms of time to reach the delivery and also considering the cost for the business. After the processing is done, the end result is site and warehouse where it should be shipped from, rather than what was put manually or set at the sales order from these different channels. So it updates that on the sales order itself, and then it goes to review and approve process. And if there are any exceptions, it goes back to the initial step, and there are multiple tries which it can do based on whatever the setting is. Once it is done, basically then it goes for fulfillment. So your fulfillment is optimized by changing the warehouse and the location, considering time and cost. As part of point 2, now I will be discussing the documentation available on the doc site. On the documentation side, you can find the documentation for distributed order management under Dynamics 365 Commerce homepage section. It only works for the sales order which are marked as coming from retail channels. So that's why it is specifically under commerce rather than supply chain, because it only works on the retail sales order. So the key here is optimization of fulfillment and efficient and intelligently. So these are the keywords what DOM is all about. This is the image which I took in my earlier discussion where I explained what the DOM processing is all about. Then it goes into the setup where you do the setup on the parameter forms and set the retention period for how long you want to keep that plan before rejection or any action is taken place. What is the minimum inventory level you want to keep, a number of attempts. You will put solver on dev environment and production solver on the production environment. Then you go into the DOM parameter, which is all the setup for the fulfillment group, and what out of these inventory or out of these rules, what is your priority and what is the settings in general you want to keep. So you can read about all this in detail. I just wanted to give a high level overview about this. And then finally how to run the DOM processing. It's simple a batch job which you can run it from here, and that job looks at the order, sales order based on these rules, which can be changed accordingly based on what priorities you have set up, and then decide which is the least costly and most effective location for the customer. And finally, this is where you can see the DOM results, and that's all about from the documentation side. Now we will jump into the demo. In the demonstration, first step is to create a sales order through retail call center and assign the warehouse as Boston. So that means the user or the sales rep will ship it from Boston sales location or POS. So I will go to the retail and commerce section and then go to customer search. I will be looking for a customer 2002 and the delivery address is of Seattle, Auburn. Now I will go and create a sales order from the call center module. Just verify the address here and then look for an item MP3 player 4014 or 404104. That's the item I'm looking for. And then I will switch to product tabs and select the variant, which is black. So everything looks good. Now change the site to East Coast and warehouse to Boston, because that's where we want it to be shipped from. Everything looks okay. Save it. Just confirming everything again. Click on complete. Add method of payments. I will pay cash and pay full amount, which is 191.60. Press OK. Submit. Next step is to check on the Boston store and see if it is available there for ship to orders, and also check the inventory levels. Now I will log into the Boston store to check if my item is available there in orders to ship, and also check the inventory levels. So I have logged into the Boston POS system. So let's go and click on orders to ship. You can see that it is available there. My one quantity is there, and this is the item which I had ordered, and the total inventory on hand is 3. So we should be good, but this is not a good location to ship, because from Boston to Auburn it will take more time and cost to the business. So ideally it should ship from Seattle, but let's look at if this item is available there in Seattle. So I will check the variant black and look at the inventory levels at different warehouses. So it is available as 3 in Boston location, and then it is available as 2 in Seattle location. So we should be good in shipping it from Seattle. So after this demonstration, um, I will be, running the DOM process, and it will basically switch these values on the sales order to Seattle, and it will ship from there. In the next step, I will be showing the setup for DOM, a high level overview, and then we will be running the batch job for DOM, which will be changing the site and warehouse on the sales order to optimize the order delivery. Now I will be walking through the setup which is required to make the DOM work. First step is to enable the DOM from general tab in the parameters. Then the Bing maps should be enabled. Then this is the retention data which you want to keep for how many days. After that, the rejection period, if something is not accepted by a store um, for fulfillment, after how long it should reject it. Then these are the two solver types. Simplified solver should be used on the dev box, while when you're on production, use the production solver method. You can also set the local store radius on what is, under which it should look for uh, optimization. And then there is nothing interesting here. It is this number sequence. After that, you click on manage rules. Here you can create your new rules. These are just the classification under which the optimization looks at, and then you can, change the parameter based on your business needs and, requirements, and also prioritize items and locations and groups, whatnot. So I'm just showing high level here that, you can create a new one and set whatever you want. I'm using just the default one, which is already set here. And then finally all this ties up in the fulfillment profile. So you can see all these classifications or the rules have been used which we previously defined. You can create multiple profiles based on business needs. These are just the ones which are used from the default demo data. And finally, all this, when you have done all this, you can go ahead and run the batch process, which will look at all the setup data and based on this change the location. Now finally, let's run the DOM batch process. So you can see that there is one line unprocessed, which we just had, came through the pause, and you can see the fulfillment status and the DOM status is not processed. So neither the fulfillment center has accepted nor the DOM has processed it. And I will again go back into the DOM process management and then run this batch job. Here I will select the fulfillment profile which we have all previously defined and run this batch job. It is completed. So now I will refresh the tile, so you can see it's processed, and we will click on open lines. The order ending in 82 was the one which we created. Now let's look at the warehouse and site. You can see that it has changed from West Coast and Seattle. This is where it was going to be shipped, or that store will ship the order. Now finally I will log in into the Seattle store just to check if the order is available in ship to orders. So I have logged in into the Seattle store. Um, Now click on ship to orders to ship, and I can see the order ending with 82 is there. with the address and how much I wanted to order. Now I can pick, pack and ship it from here, and even reject the order if I don't accept what Dome has done for me.